Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Caroline and this is our Catholic audio Bible reading series where we read from the Catholic Bible and then have commentary and reflection about this every day. We're continuing in the book of Genesis. Welcome to people that are new here. Welcome back if you have been joining us day in and day out. We're reading from Genesis all the way up to Revelation. Today is day 21. We are reading chapters 46 and 47 in the book of Genesis. I will put in the description the timing for the audio Bible portion of this video and then the commentary section. So depending on what your needs are or what you would like to do, you can listen along as we read. And then if you've already read it and you just wanted to get a little bit of Bible study in and some reflection, you'll have that part in the video where you can turn to that and just listen along to that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started in chapter 46. Jacob brings his whole family to Egypt. When Israel set out on his journey with all that he had, and he came to Beersheba, he offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. God spoke to Israel in visions of the night and said, "Jacob, Jacob." And he said, "Here I am." Then he said, "I am God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will make of you a great nation there. I myself will go down with you to Egypt, and I will also bring you up again, and Joseph's own hand shall close your eyes." Then Jacob set out from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried their father Jacob, their little ones, and their wives in the wagons that Pharaoh had sent to carry him. They also took their livestock and the goods that they had acquired in the land of Canaan. And they came into Egypt, Jacob and all his offspring with him, his sons and his sons' sons with him, his daughters and his sons' daughters, all his offspring he brought with him to Egypt. Now these are the names of the Israelites, Jacob and his offspring who came to Egypt: Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and the children of Reuben: Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. The children of Simeon: Jemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, Zohar, and Shaul, the son of a Canaanite woman. The children of Levi: Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The children of Judah: Onan, Shelah, Perez, and Zerah. But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the children of Perez were Hezron and Hamel. The children of Issachar: Tola, Puvah, Jashub, and Shimron. The children of Zebulun: Sered, Elon, and Jaleel. These are the sons of Leah, whom she bore to Jacob in Paddan Aram, together with his daughter Dinah. In all, his sons and daughters numbered 33. The children of Gad: Ziphion, Haggai, Shunai, Esbon, Eri, Erodi, and Areli. The children of Asher: Imnah, Ishvai, Beriah, and their sister Sarah. The children of Beriah: Heber and Malchiel. These are the children of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to his daughter Leah. And these she bore to Jacob, 16 persons. The children of Jacob's wife Rachel: Joseph and Benjamin. To Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, whom Asenath, daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bore to him. The children of Benjamin: Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ehi, Rosh, Muppim, Huppim, and Ard. These are the children of Rachel who were born to Jacob, 14 persons in all. The children of Dan: Hashem. The children of Naphtali: Jaziel, Guni, Jezer, Shilem. These are the children of Bilhah, whom Laban gave to his daughter Rachel, and these she bore to Jacob, 7 persons in all. All the persons belonging to Jacob who came into Egypt, who were his own offspring, not including the wives of his sons, were 66 persons in all. The children of Joseph who were born to him in Egypt were 2. All the persons of the house of Jacob who came into Egypt were 70. Jacob settles in Goshen. Israel sent Judah ahead to Joseph to lead the way before him into Goshen. When they came to the land of Goshen, Joseph made ready his chariot and went to meet his father Israel in Goshen. He presented himself to him, fell on his neck, and wept on his neck a good while. Israel said to Joseph, I can die now, having seen for myself that you are still alive. Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's household, I will go up and tell Pharaoh, and will say to him, my brothers and my father's household who are in the land of Canaan have come to me. The men are shepherds, for they have been keepers of livestock, and they have brought their flocks, their herds, and all that they have. When Pharaoh calls you and says, what is your occupation? You shall say, your servants have been keepers of livestock from our youth, even until now, both we and our ancestors, in order that you may settle in the land of Goshen, because all shepherds are abhorrent to the Egyptians. So Joseph went and told Pharaoh, my father and my brothers, with their flocks and herds, and all that they possess, have come from the land of Canaan. This is chapter 47, by the way. They are now in the land of Goshen. From among his brothers, he took 5 men and presented them to Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to his brothers, what is your occupation? And they said to Pharaoh, your servants are shepherds, as our ancestors were. They said to Pharaoh, we have come to reside as aliens in the land, for there is no pasture for your servants' flocks, because the famine is severe in the land of Canaan. Now we ask you, let your servants settle in the land of Goshen. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, your father and your brothers have come to you. The land of Egypt is before you. Settle your father and your brothers in the best part of the land. Let them live in the land of Goshen. And if you know that there are capable men among them, put them in charge of my livestock. Then Joseph brought in his father Jacob and presented him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Jacob, how many are the years of your life? Jacob said to Pharaoh, the years of my earthly sojourn are 130. Few and hard have been the years of my life. They do not compare with the years of the life of my ancestors during their long sojourn. Then Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from the presence of Pharaoh. Joseph settled his father and his brothers and granted them a holding in the land of Egypt, in the best part of the land, in the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had instructed. And Joseph provided his father, his brothers, and all his father's household with food according to the number of their dependents. The famine in Egypt. Now there was no food in all the land, for the famine was very severe. The land of Egypt and the land of Canaan languished because of the famine. Joseph collected all the money to be found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan in exchange for the grain that they bought, and Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. When the money from the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan was spent, all the Egyptians came to Joseph and said, give us food. Why should we die before your eyes? For our money is gone. And Joseph answered, give me your livestock, and I will give you food in exchange for your livestock, if your money is gone. So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them food in exchange for the horses, the flocks, the herds, and the donkeys. That year, he supplied them with food in exchange for all their livestock. When that year was ended, they came to him the following year and said to him, we cannot hide from my lord that our money is all spent, and the herds of cattle are my lord's. There is nothing left in the sight of my lord but our bodies and our lands. Shall we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land in exchange for food. We with our land will become slaves to Pharaoh. Just give us seed so that we may live and not die, and that the land may not become desolate. So Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. All the Egyptians sold their fields because the famine was severe upon them, and the land became Pharaoh's. As for the people, he made slaves of them from one end of Egypt to the other. Only the land of the priests he did not buy, for the priests had a fixed allowance from Pharaoh and lived on the allowance that Pharaoh gave them. Therefore they did not sell their land. Then Joseph said to the people, "Now that I have this day bought you and your land for Pharaoh, here is seed for you, sow the land. And at the harvest you shall give 1/5 to Pharaoh, and 4/5 shall be your own, as seed for the field, and as food for yourselves and your household, and as food for your little ones." They said, "You have saved our lives. May it please my Lord, we will be slaves to Pharaoh." So Joseph made a statute concerning the land of Egypt, and it stands to this day, that Pharaoh should have the 5th. The land of the priests alone did not become Pharaoh's. The last days of Jacob. Thus Israel settled in the land of Egypt, in the region of Goshen, and they gained possessions in it, and were fruitful and multiplied exceedingly. Jacob lived in the land of Egypt for 17 years. So the days of Jacob, the years of his life, were 147 years. When the time of Israel's death drew near, he called his son Joseph and said to him, "If I have found favor with you, put your hand under my thigh and promise to deal loyally and truly with me. Do not bury me in Egypt. When I lie down with my ancestors, carry me out of Egypt and bury me in the burial place." He answered, "I will do as you have said." And he said, "Swear to me." And he swore to him. Then Israel bowed himself on the head of his bed. So there's 46 and 47. And we see in chapter 46 that Jacob brings his entire family to Egypt at Joseph's request and instructions. And Israel, Jacob, is very old at this point. I know that Joseph and the Pharaoh had sent wagons for Israel, Jacob, and all of the family. And they describe in chapter 46 the entire family, a total of 70 persons between Jacob, his sons, sons, the wives, and other children, the grandchildren. We also see that this is the last, I think, mention of Dinah altogether, his daughter. But we see all of the different generations and the little ones all coming into Egypt. They made it. The famine was still going on. It was very severe. And Jacob and Israel and all of his family settled in Goshen. It was the prime choice for land there. And they settled in there, tending to livestock. And we see that the Egyptians do not look very kindly upon shepherds dealing with livestock, but that is the Israelites, the ancestors, what they did. And it's continuing on there. And they settle in Goshen, and they become fruitful, and they multiply, because God promised Jacob, Israel, in dreams that he was their God and that he would stay with them, provide for them, and watch over them in Egypt. And so we see that the famine is continuing, as I said, in Egypt, and it is very severe. So the people of Egypt, and this I think becomes a bit important to kind of see how we're seeing this setup of the Israelites who have now settled in Goshen are becoming more fruitful. They are multiplying. They have food. They have livestock. So they're becoming, they're living lives in abundance, not so much in the famine, of course, but over time, they will have great abundance because God is their God and is watching over them and providing for them. And we see the people, the Egyptians, who, the famine being so severe, where they were buying food with money from Joseph. Now all the money is spent, and this is a 7-year famine. So they're right in the middle of this famine. And so they buy food with money, as much money as they had. They spent all of the money, and then they came to Joseph and said, "We have nothing more except our livestock, our land, and ourselves." And so they start with the livestock, and they sell the livestock to Joseph, or the Pharaoh. And they exchange that for grain, for food. They get food the next year. They have run out of livestock, and Pharaoh now has all this livestock. And so, which the Israelites, Jacob and his family, are tending. And then these Egyptians go back to Joseph and they say, we have nothing more except now the land that we own and ourselves. We do not want to die. Please give us food. We'll sell you the land in exchange for food, and we will become slaves to the Pharaoh. And so Joseph agrees. He buys up all the land of Egypt, and now it says that Pharaoh owns all the land in Egypt, and the people, the Egyptians, have become slaves to the Pharaoh, and they work the land, and they are to give 1/5 of everything that they grow to Pharaoh and keep 4/5 for themselves. So they were able to grow their own food. They are able to keep themselves fed and their families. And then Pharaoh gets 1/5. And Joseph had a law written in so that, into the Egyptian law, so that 1/5 of everything goes to the Pharaoh. And all the people now become slaves of Pharaoh. And we see this as a setup. I said that, they will see, the Egyptians will see that the Israelites become very prosperous, and that, they will multiply and live on this prime choice land in Goshen, which I believe that they actually own. This is not owned by Pharaoh, and they settle there. And we see these last days of Jacob, where Jacob has not died yet, but his days are drawing near where he will die. And he has Joseph promise him to deal loyally and truly with his father, and to bury him when the time comes in the land of their ancestors, to take them back to the land of Canaan and to bury him there. And Joseph does agree. He swears, he promises, and we leave off in chapter 47, where Israel, Jacob, is close to death. The family is growing now in Goshen of Egypt, and the famine is ongoing. We'll pick up tomorrow with chapter 48. And with that, I will put a link in the description to the playlist for all of the other videos in this series, so that you can go back to other days and read more with me for Genesis, the book of Genesis. And we'll continue again with 48. We're almost done with the book of Genesis. I hope that you all have a good rest of your day, and I really thank you for joining me today.